everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Fabulous Living with Angela Jones. I am so excited about today's show because today we're going to be showcasing not only the most important meal of the day, but the most important meal of the day in my house. We love breakfast. We love breakfast food. We even eat it at dinner time. Because it's just quick, fast. If you need something, you come in late, you want to whip up breakfast. Back in the day when I used to go to a club or something like that, we went out and we had what? Breakfast. Breakfast is so easy. Most people that can't even cook can typically whip up something for breakfast. So today I kind of wanted to highlight breakfast, Sunday morning now, and I just thought I'd showcase a couple of little things that are some of my little favorites for breakfast. And we're not going out to eat a lot right now. At least I know I haven't been going out to eat. I've been making sure that during the pandemic I want to support restaurants, but at the same time I've been going out less and focusing more on eating at home, as I'm sure you have too. But with that, sometimes you want, restaurant quality food. You still want, something from a bakery or, that juicy burger that you would get at a diner or what have you. So today I am going to be showing you my recipe that I love, one of my favorites, blueberry muffins, but they're bakery style blueberry muffins. We're going to be baking them up in a jumbo tin. And, because the ones that you get at a bakery are usually the size of your head. They are huge. So we're gonna make them that size. And you can always, if you're not, such a bread eater like I am, you can always, just cut it in half. Or you can make these smaller if you like. You can make a dozen of them or so, maybe even a little more in standard size tins. But for today, we're making them jumbo. It's getting a little closer to brunch now, so we're getting a little hungry around here. So we're going to have jumbo muffins. Then next, I'm going to also, you got to have, some kind of protein. So we're going to have some bacon. My son is a turkey bacon eater. I eat turkey bacon too, but I still like the swine, so I try to mix it up a little bit, but he likes turkey bacon. I, eat pork bacon. So today I'm going to make up some bacon, but I'm not going to fry it. I'm going to prepare it in the oven. And then last but not least, I'm going to whip up the creamiest scrambled eggs that you've ever had. I'm going to show you some tips that my mother showed me when I learned how to scramble eggs. And I'm sure you do them as well, but I got, a couple of tips that you may not know about. So let's dig in here today. So for starters, I've already placed in the bowl 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and I want a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. So that's already here. I've already mixed it here in the bowl. So next, we're going to put in the wet ingredients. Again, much like a biscuit or banana bread, I love any kind of quick bread because we don't always have time for yeast and waiting for it to rise and kneading it and all of that good stuff. So that's the beauty of biscuits, quick breads like banana bread, cheese breads, that kind of thing, and muffins. So there is no reason to go to a bakery, even post-pandemic, when you can prepare your own bakery quality muffins at home. And most of it is all your basic ingredients that you already have, but probably with the exception of the blueberries that you may have to pick up, and that's it. So now we're going to put in our wet ingredients. So next we have 1 cup of milk, and you can use buttermilk if you like, that is fine. I have a mixture here because I was running out of buttermilk, so I used a little bit, it was like 1/4 cup of buttermilk, and then the rest of it is 2% milk. I didn't have any whole milk, so we don't buy whole milk, so I usually have 2%, but any milk will do. So room temperature milk, 1 cup. Then we're going to put in some unsalted butter, 5 tablespoons that have already been melted and slightly cooled already. So we're going to add that. Next. Sorry for the scraping, but y'all know how I feel about getting it all in there. There. Next we have 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Place that in. Left a little bit of milk in there, so I'm going to put that, make sure we get all that in there too. Next, we have sour cream. And we're just going to do 1/3 cup of the sour cream. And all of this, the butter, the oil, the sour cream, is going to make for a very moist muffin. Because there is nothing worse than a dry muffin. We want a really moist, tender muffin. Out just a little. There. Got 1/3 cup. Sour cream. And next we have 2 large eggs. And next, there, pure vanilla, and we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we have 1 cup granulated sugar. And then just for a little brightness, because muffins, especially because these are going to be a really dense batter with the blueberries and everything, I want to just add just a little zest from a lemon. You just want to, and the zest is just that the yellow part of it is so much flavor in that in the skin, in the peel itself. So it's also a nice way to get some use of the peel that we often don't use. So, like I said, just a little brightness. And I don't measure, I just kind of scrape, grate for just a little bit. And I'm kind of using a bigger kind of grater here too, not the micro grater that I typically use, because sometimes that doesn't grate as fast as I want it. So just gonna put a little bit more in. And like I said, just for a little brightness. And some people add cinnamon to their blueberry muffins, but I don't particularly like to add cinnamon to it. So, but that's optional if you want to add a little bit of cinnamon. With this recipe as it is, I would probably add no more than maybe a half a teaspoon or so. We want to get this all whipped together. It's all coming together really nicely. And remember, we want this is going to be a thick batter, and that's the way we want it. We want it to be really thick. Yeah, really thick. Not super thick, but we don't want it to be smooth. You don't want to beat this to the point where it's, where you're trying to smooth it out and not have any lumps in the batter. We want it to be nice and thick. Oh yeah, I can honestly just eat blueberry muffins, a bear claw, coffee cake, anything like that for breakfast is the best. And a piece of fruit, and I'm happy. So that's nicely, just so you can see there, it's coming together really nicely, and I would say we're gonna stop there. So I think we are in good shape. So next, and quick tip too, this is, like I said, a thicker batter, but if you wanted to, if you happen to be making a batter that was a little bit thinner, just in general, if you're making some muffins and maybe the batter isn't as thick as this batter, a quick tip is that so the fruit doesn't sink to the bottom, put a little bit of this batter before you add your fruit to it. Put a little bit of this batter, just a layer in the bottom of your tin without the fruit in it, and that's going to secure the bottom of the muffin and also prevent the fruit from sinking to the bottom. Good tip, right? Because, you know, you go through all this trouble, you want to see all the luscious blueberries, and you open it up and everything is sitting at the bottom. Womp. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So I have a pint of fresh blueberries. You can always use frozen, not a big deal. Frozen is fine, but don't thaw them. Put them in frozen, okay? And I'm going to use the whole pint. And now what I'm doing is I'm gently folding the blueberries in the batter. And I like to make sure, that's why I use the whole pint. I don't want them to be skimpy, like a blueberry here, a blueberry there. They're blueberry muffins. So we want to make sure, let me just tilt that so you can see what's happening in there. Okay. And now we are ready to add the batter to our pan. So I've already greased the pan. Grease each tin generously because, you know, the blueberries can tend to stick and all of that. So to prevent them from doing that, I generously greased the pan, so we're all set there. And I'm going to use an ice cream scoop Ooh, I can see those flecks of the lemon. I'm just gonna put these here in the pan. And if you get some on the side, no big deal. We're gonna do a cleanup at the end. You know what? You know, trying to do things all cute. It's nice sometimes, but sometimes we just gotta go old school. Like I said, I've been baking a long time. So we're gonna fill, so the thing we wanna do here is we wanna fill the tins all the way up. Typically you would say, oh no, we only wanna fill them halfway, but these, we want these to be big, jumbo, generous portions. So we're going to fill these all the way up, and then they're going to overflow over the you know, the top of the tin, just like they would if you were to purchase them at a bakery. We have a little more batter left, so I think I have really enough for one more. So I'm going to put that stray one. I'm going to save this one for later because I don't want to overdo them. I think we're in good shape, but I'm going to add, this one looks like it's in need of a little more blueberry love. So I'm going to put another blueberry in that one. So the tip here with, there you are, so you can see how lovely they are. The tip here is, you know when you tend to make any kind of muffin or anything at home, you don't get that dome shape that you get when you go to a bakery, right? This is the tip. Turn your oven I already have the oven already preheated to 425 degrees. We want them at that high temperature for only 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes is all you need. Then after 5 minutes, we're going to turn down the heat to 350, and then the muffins will bake from the inside. But that's going to help them get that rise and that nice dome shape that you see at the bakery. Because that's always been my thing. I'm like, why, when I make muffins at home, they taste great, but they weren't getting that dome on top. And then I said, aha, because the same with the biscuits, remember? You want that high heat so that they rise faster. So that's your tip, to make sure you have a nice domed muffin. So we're going to put these in for 5 minutes. At 425, and then we're going to turn them down to 350. But in the meantime, I already have my bacon. I kind of just want to show you another little tip of mine for the bacon. I love bacon. As most people who eat bacon is the bomb. Bacon is so good on everything. It's just delicious, right? But like I said, I'll eat turkey bacon also, but I prefer pork bacon. But I'm making bacon for both of us. I don't want to use 2 separate pans. So what I did here was I made like a little barrier and put my bacon on one side in foil. I kind of put it like I almost made like a little sheet pan within the sheet pan with the foil. Then I put my son's turkey bacon, I put Darius's turkey bacon over here on the side. So I don't have to use a separate pan. You know, the grease from my bacon won't interfere with his bacon. It will all stay in my little foil, little baking sheet concoction here. And it's so simple. So that's great if you have, you're like me. Somebody doesn't eat pork, someone does. You don't want to have to use a separate pan. This works out great, especially if you're not making a lot of it. You can probably, I could have gotten another slice, maybe 2 more slices of bacon on there. So I could have put like 9 slices of bacon on here, which is not bad. But I also wanted to tell you that I love bacon and I love the taste of it and all that good stuff, but I hate frying bacon because it gets everywhere. The grease splatters everywhere. And my mom was telling me, she's like, I don't fry bacon anymore. She's like, I put it in the oven. And I'm like, you always feel like it's going to get crispy. You want that taste that's fried in the oven. It still tastes fabulous you want that taste when it's fried on top of the stove, but it still tastes fabulous when it's fried, when it's oven baked as well. It's still, you're going to see, it's still going to be crispy. Actually, it's going to be, I find it's crispier in the oven. And I don't think I've shared with you guys that I have a restaurant background. I didn't work in the kitchen. I managed a restaurant. And this is how, for brunch on Sundays, we cooked, the bacon was prepared in large sheet pans in the oven. Because it's just faster that way, so that you can make bacon, you can prepare it in bulk. They're not sitting there frying bacon for every order. Just to be very clear, they're not doing that. Now, maybe in some smaller places where it's a short order kind of place, yes, they are, putting the bacon on there, and you can see them at the grill. If you go to like your little breakfast spot, downtown at work, yes, they are making it as you go along. Sometimes they're not either. They're either putting it in the oven or they're putting it on a huge grill and doing it that way. But this way is so much easier. The cleanup is so much better. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this. We have 2 more minutes on the muffins. Then I'm going to turn those down to 350. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to, let those bake off. And then we're going to get started with some scrambled eggs when it's almost time for our muffins to come out so that we can time everything just so. So, be back in a second. Hey everybody, welcome back. Our muffins are done. My home smells amazing. OMG, they are so pretty. So we have luscious, yummy, dome-topped muffins. Just like you spend $4 or $5 to get this from a bakery. And you can make them at home. They're gorgeous. Folks. So we're gonna let those rest. And next, we're gonna whip up these eggs I've been telling you about. Now, one other quick thing I want to tell you about the muffins. If you do not want to use full-fat sour cream and you want to do something a little on the healthier side, you can always replace the sour cream with yogurt if you like. You can easily do that. That is not a problem. And the yogurt is still going to provide the moistness to the muffin. So if you don't, let's say for instance you don't have the sour cream, you can always use yogurt. So I'm always interested in, what different things do. I told you I like the whole science of baking, and it's just nice to know that sometimes you may not have everything you need, but if you know the science behind it, or not necessarily, you don't even have to know the science per se, but if you know that you can substitute something for something else, and you don't always have to dash out to the store, especially in these times, that is a major pet peeve of mine, having to run out to the store when I want to make something. Oh, that drives me nuts. So it's nice to know what you can substitute different things for. So just thought I'd throw that in there. One other thing I wanted to mention too is I went on ahead and I decided to bake the bacon while the muffins were in the oven on the lower rack. Now, typically, the bacon should be on 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. But since the oven was already hot with the muffins in there at 350, I just had to cook it a little bit longer to let the bacon fully cook. So the bacon is already done. I have that already draining on paper towels behind me. But I just wanted you to know, I wanted to kind of speed up everything a little bit. One, because it's good to be able to do multiple things in your oven and not have to wait. Depending on what it is, temperature-wise, the 50 degrees didn't really make that much of a difference. I just had to cook the bacon just a little bit longer. That's it. So it's all good. So now let's get into our eggs. I have 4 eggs here. I have my handy-dandy whisk. And whisking is so much better than using a fork, because you can really ensure that you really blend the whites with the yolk. So you want to keep whisking until you really get it mixed up. Really mixed. Yeah, that's really good. Now, next, I add a little bit of salt, and I have some pink Himalayan sea salt, a little salt. A little bit of coarse black pepper. And this part is the part where some people are like, real purist chefs, they turn their nose up at adding a little cream or milk to the eggs. But this is what actually helps the eggs to be creamier, in addition to another technique I'm going to show you. So just a little bit. So this is just some heavy whipping cream. And it's just a quick hit. That's all you need. It's not much. I can't even say, measurement-wise, that was probably maybe a tablespoon, if that. But just a splash of milk. That's all we need. Now we're going to get our pan ready. I've got the pan heating, and you want your pan on kind of high initially, just so that what we're doing here is I'm using a stainless steel pan, not a non-stick cooking pan. I stopped cooking with non-stick cooking pans just for health purposes. I mean, I'm trying to find ways to cut back and make things, healthy-ish. So I'm using a stainless steel pan, but the key to using a stainless steel pan so that the eggs don't stick as much, depending on the wear and tear of your pan, is you want to get the skillet high, not super hot, because we don't want to burn the eggs. There should never be any brown on your eggs. So we want to get the pan relatively hot, so you can put your hand over it, and then we're going to get the butter in there, get that to coat the pan, and that's going to serve as our non-stick surface. So give me a second. I'm going to move on to the skillet, and we're going to get those eggs whipped up. So now our skillet is perfect. It's just about where we want it. I'm just taking about a tablespoon of butter. And actually, I'm going to take it's a little more than a tablespoon. I'm not trying to kill it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that out over there. And it's just where we want it. We don't want the butter to burn because we don't want it brown. And I have my stove. I have an electric stove, which I prefer. I prefer gas, but hey. So we're gonna just kind of gently fold the eggs and push them kind of from side to side. And then I also kind of like to do this. I don't know if it's like the chefy way to do it, but I'm just remembering the way my mom used to prepare eggs. And see, they have these nice ribbons. You're gonna add a little cheese. So they get nice and cheesy. And they have a nice ribbons in them. Like nice little curds. We could have actually turned it down even slower. But we're hungry, like I said. I'm gonna put the rest of this cheese in. And now we're done. Yay! So actually, like I said, we have the key with eggs is low and slow. You don't want to, if you cook them too fast, then they're going to brown, and you don't want that. And so you have these nice, big, almost like ribbons, big curds, and then you have the cheese, all mixed in there to make it nice and cheesy. So you got that. Let's turn this off. And let's come this way. And then we're going to take that muffin that I already kind of had out. Bam. OMG, that looks so good. I'm going to get a little bit of this butter that I didn't end up using for the eggs. Slide that in. And we have a delicious homemade breakfast. That's my son's plate. I don't eat eggs. After all that, I don't eat eggs. But I'm going to eat this here muffin. And I'm going to enjoy my bacon with it. Look at that one. Oh, see how that just fell apart? Oh, man. Oh, they smell delightful. Let me get a little piece. Let you know how they came out. Perfect. They're really hot right now. So that's why they're kind of falling all apart. But that's what you want. They're yummy, guys. Really yummy. Nice, plump berries. You can taste a little hint of the lemon. So good. So guys, that's how we're starting our day here. Hopefully I gave you a couple of tips so that you can prepare your own restaurant quality, bakery quality breakfast at home. Make it a great day, everybody. Blessings.